So hey guys, as you probably can tell by the title of this video, this is actually the aftermath of last night. Let me just preface this video because I'm sure once you get into it, it's not going to make much sense, and I'm just starting to ramble, but what else is new? Because whenever something happens with me, I just start rambling and forget to get to a point. So let's start with last night. Early this morning, I was up pretty late, which is normal for me because I'm pretty much just, especially during the summer, I'm always up. I'm either, editing, or I'm looking through stuff or what have you. I was actually just watching a movie, and then I sort of fell asleep, and I'd say probably about maybe an hour and a half later, I was awoken. Not by a noise or anything, but just by, I had this sense of discomfort where my arms started to feel really numb. And then I started to get this weird tingling on my scalp. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just because I was sleeping on my arm wrong or something like that. So I didn't give it much thought. But then, my thoughts started to run. And I started to have this sensation that I wanted to yawn. I know it's going to sound really strange and really stupid, but I wanted to yawn really badly because I felt my body was tired, my brain was tired, but for some reason I couldn't yawn. And after that, whatever sensation was going on with my head was starting to get worse, which blew up into what it was mainly, from the title, was a panic attack. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people are probably like, well, so what? What's the big deal? But for me, this was not a triggered panic attack. This was a nocturnal panic attack, as I actually looked it up on Google before about, can panic attacks wake you up? And they certainly can, and they don't need to be triggered by anything, and they don't, but the sense of it is just that you feel like you're gonna die. And I don't know why these are happening. They seem to happen now every month around my period time. I don't know if that's triggered by, it's obviously not a trigger but maybe it's induced by hormones. I don't even know. But I used to get these years ago, but they were triggered by stress. They were triggered by, drama. They were triggered by just stuff that was worrying or, going on. And as it stands right now, there isn't anything going on. There is no, apparent stress or anything like that. None that is to the point where it would set off something like this. And I don't talk about this portion of my life because, quite frankly, I just think sometimes that, sharing too much is sort of like a downfall, sort of like a dangerous thing, because the more you let people know about your weaknesses, the more they can hold them against you. But I think it's more now that this is like, I'm scared and I need to vent this because I don't know why they're happening to me more often every month now. I came into my daughter's room to shoot this video because I just feel a little bit more comfortable and more like, I don't know. I was actually starting to feel like I was going to have another one when I put this camera on, and I'm like, if that happens, then at least I can document that it's happening again. I almost turned the camera on last night just to let you guys see what happens when you have a true full-blown panic attack, but I was more afraid of, was I going to pass out? Was I going to die? Was I going to blow up? I can't explain the sensations. It feels like, I've had these feelings before. Once when I took a combination of medication I shouldn't have, and I ended up having a tingling in my on my head and my face and my tongue, and I couldn't feel my face, and I ended up on the floor, and an ambulance had to come. And you know, it's a good thing that we are friends with a doctor, because he checked me out. But I don't talk about this part of my life because it's just one that I rather not give so much energy to anymore. I mean, I know that I've had depression all my life, and I fought it, and I just hate that it happens, and that it comes back in other forms, and there's nothing I can do about it, because now I guess it just happens whenever it feels like it. It's just triggered by absolutely nothing. They can just wake you up in the middle of the night when you're trying to just sleep and just be at peace. It doesn't happen that way. So I didn't know what else to do. Thank God that Joe's mom was up. You know, Joe goes to work at really early in the morning, goes to work at like 5 a.m. So he was, you know, stirring while this started, and he was asking me questions and asking me if I should eat anything or anything. You know, I know it's like a person doesn't know what to do, and I think when that happens, I kind of feel for them too, because I know if I'm watching somebody going through something and I don't know what to say or how to say it, all the dumb things come out of my mouth. So, but you know, I just walked around. You know, a few times I put my head between my legs and I just was bawling, and then I was walking around in the kitchen, and then, you know, Joe's mom started talking to me, so it kind of just distracted me from it, and eventually it went away. But the whole thing about just losing your neuro control, like the control of your mind, the control of what your body does when your mind is sending it different types of signals, is horrifying to me. Because what if this happens when there's nobody home, or my kid is home and it's just me and her, and this happens and I freak her out or whatever, and I don't want to do that. I'm always one that's in control, and I don't want to do that to her. So, and I look like crap because I honestly didn't get to bed until like almost 6 a.m. And then I got up at like 10:30. And I'm still in last night's, you know, clothes, pajamas, what have you. And I've just kind of been like zoned out, you know. I don't know what to do with myself. And honestly, this was the one and only thing I could get myself to do. I'm like, you know what, if anything, let me just document this, so the next time it happens for me, I could see that, you know, it's livable, and I can get past it. And maybe there are other people out there that knows what this is like, because there's nothing worse than when you're going through something and you feel like it's just you, and to try to explain it to people is the worst thing ever. Because you don't know what to say. You feel like you're talking crazy. Like if I explained to them that my brain and I kept saying I can't yawn, and like today it sounds funny, but last night it was a fear. It was like, oh my God, I'm losing my abilities to do things. Like last time this happened, I couldn't swallow, and that scared me, and it was like, I'm gonna choke if I can't swallow, or something like that. This time it was, I can't yawn, I can't get that release, I can't, you know, I just want my body to tell itself it's tired and for this to stop. I don't know, but you know, so if you guys have had this type of a thing, if you get panic attacks, what do you do about them? How do you cope with them? How do you deal with them? What's the best way to handle them if you're alone, or if there's, you know, your children around? And I mean, I didn't want to get serious to the point of saying like call an ambulance or anything like that, because obviously I'm not, you know, God forbid, in any real danger, but I'm afraid of what it could cause if I'm thrown off, if it happens to me when I don't, like it did last night. Like I didn't expect this. I was going to sleep, and you know, my body was tired, my brain was tired, and it shook me. I mean, it was literally like, you know, okay, brain is up, and the rest of you just has to just go along with it. And I wasn't, I know I'm going to hear comments about this. Was I depressed? Was I, you know, yeah. I think it just comes with the, you know, monthly thing. You get your hormones and your mood swings and that kind of stuff. And, you know, I was trying to shoot a video yesterday, and it was really, really frustrating because I must have stopped and started 5, 6, 7 times, and I was getting really just like, you know, annoyed. And every time I do something, I worry about, did I say the wrong thing? How did this come out? Does this make any sense? I don't even know if I'm involuntarily building up, you know, this whole, like, reason to have unnecessary stress sometimes. You know, maybe it's because there are things on the horizon, or there are things that are embedded in my subconscious that, you know, I don't talk about. You know, I do on weekends with Chris, you know, we have our talks and stuff, but on a whole, I don't really have too many discussions about things. You know, here, I talk to people when they get home, you know, but it's nothing like this. I mean, if it's important enough, I will, but I don't know. And I'm feeling strange even making this video right now, but I just thought that if this happens to me again, that I have a form of reference that I can say, okay, yeah, this happened, and you survived it. It's not as bad as you think. And maybe there's others out there that have the same issues, and, you know, can see that it's not just them either, that it does happen to the better of us. Those of us who, you know, seem to be one way in, you know, in public and another in our private lives. Well, no, this is me in all spectrums. I don't hide what goes on. You know, what you see is what you get. It's just that there are times that I'm even overwhelmed with what happens to me without a sense of knowing, and that's the worst part, is when you don't know. When you don't know why something happens, it's the worst thing, and it triggers off other thoughts in your head, and you're like, oh, maybe this is developing. Maybe I'm getting some sort of an illness. Maybe I'm, you know, something bad's going to happen soon, and this is just like, you know, the calm before the storm kind of thing. That's the way my brain runs. But, I'm sorry. I just wanted to jump on here really quick and just let you know that this is real. This is not something that people make up. I mean, I know there's people that have panic and anxiety and sort of like other things, social anxiety, that kind of thing. But this is, like I said, I can step out of my house. I have no problem doing that. I don't have day-to-day depression like I used to. I, you know, was bad at a very pivotal point in my life, but I haven't been. You know, I try to see the positive in things at times when it doesn't seem that way, you know, and I also like to talk myself out of a lot of stuff. If something bad's happening, I'm trying to talk myself out of it. Well, no, this is not going to take me over. So I don't know. I'm rambling again. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to let you know what was going on, and you know, if you guys have any kind of feedback or anything like that, that would be really helpful. Other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video.